This is a question of the century, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I wonder how long this has been going on. Probably since cavemen, probably since Og and Agat probably got into some kind of arguments, and either Og or Agat had some bad habits and one of them wanted the other to change. Now back then they would just slam someone over the head with a club to get them to change. We can't do that today. We're going to end up in jail. But how do we get our partner to change negative habits? Maybe drinking or smoking or overeating or spending too much money or not spending enough time with the kids or spending way too much time at work or hanging out with people that aren't good for them. The list goes on and on and on, right? I want my partner to exercise and he or she hasn't worked out in 10, 15 years. How do I make them do that? How do I get them to do that? How do I get them to drop pot? How do I get them to get off of porn? How do I? It's a great question, and there's many different angles to go with. Let's go with the first one that I like the most, and that's sitting down and talking about the negative ramifications that have happened to the relationship or the family with your partner's challenges, whatever habit it is, right? Now, this is not going to be an easy conversation, but we have to start it out and end it with love. And in the middle is where we have the reality, right? Honey, I love you so much. I am so in love with you, and we've been together for 6 years or 25 years or 30 years. But one thing that I haven't brought up, and it's my fault, is the fact that when you go out west, you always go to these bars and you gamble or you drink too much. And when you're with me, you don't, but every time you're on the road, you do. And it hurts us. You know, when I hear you on the phone talking to me like that when you're drunk, or I hear you spend all this money, of course it hurts us. And I haven't talked about it, and that's my fault. But my question is, what can we do so that we can get closer? What can we do so we can have these conversations without one of us getting upset and running away or yelling or screaming or whatever it might be? These are hard conversations, honey, but I want to be with you. The biggest challenge I have is that this habit that we're talking about is destroying our love, I think, and it's really hurting our relationship. And our children are seeing it too. Can we talk about how we might modify that? Or, do we want to go and talk to someone? What are your ideas? Do you see the way I presented it? I didn't say, hey, listen, you've been drinking for 20 years. You're a pain in the butt when you drink. You do stupid things when you drink. You've got to quit right now. Now, that's an approach, but it's not one that's probably going to get a lot of movement, right? The first one is an approach of love. I understand that there's a challenge here. It's affecting us. It's affecting the kids. It's affecting everything. What can we do to change? Now, we aren't going to be doing very much. Now, you could go together to see a counselor, therapist, whatever it might be, but eventually your partner has to come to the decision that they are going to change on their own. The second option is called a boundary with a consequence, where you say, we've talked about this for 10 years, and every time I ask you to quit drinking or quit using porn or whatever it might be, you say you're going to. But then within a couple months, you're back to it. And last week was the worst. When my friend found out that you were with someone else, you had an affair. You said it wasn't physical, it was an emotional affair. This has been going on for too long. So I want to be real with you. I love you. I'd love to stay with you. The only thing is, if this habit continues, I will not be able to be here. So I want you to think about it. If you want me to help you find someone to make this habit something from the past, I'll help you. I can't change you. I'm not going to change you. I will help if I can. But if you decide to stay in this pattern that we have been in or you have been in all these years, I will have to leave. Now, that's another very soft approach, and your partner may say, well, then leave. And then you have to make a decision. If their habit is that destructive to your communication, to your finances, to your partner as a role model if you have children, you may have to leave. Or the third option is going to be this, and this is something we've worked with so many couples with. It's a program we put them in, and it's called Staying Together While Living Apart. It's been around forever. We have so many clients that this has worked perfectly for, and that's a whole system. I won't get into breaking it down, but basically what we do is we ask the people to separate for 90 days. So someone gets a small apartment or a condo or a mobile home or whatever it might be, and the other person stays in their residence. And over those 90 days, I work with both people separately. I don't ever do couples counseling. I don't believe in it. That's another whole story we'll get into another time. But I work with both people independently to try to find out how can we get them closer together? How can we help them communicate better? The person with the really bad habit, how do we help them to release that habit? Over the course of 90 days, you would not believe how many couples have gotten their act together and come back together. So those are just some options. If you want to talk to me, we have a free 20-minute session for everyone that wants help at talkdavid.com. 5 books on the website, absolutely free. And if you're going to work with me one-on-one, we have some specials going on right now because of inflation. Go to talkdavid.com. Let's work together. We've been doing this 43 years. Our work is phenomenal, not just because of me, but because of the clients that do the work I ask them to do. So let's get together. Let's stop the insanity. According to the American Psychological Association, 80% of marriages and relationships in the United States today are in very deep trouble. Let's turn that number around. I'm here to help you. TalkDavid.com. I'm David Essel. Have a beautiful day.